In this video, we're going to go over the restoration of an antique camera tripod. I purchased this tripod probably about 10 years ago at a flea market. I originally bought it because it had a very steampunk look. It's been laying around ever since. After the completion of my last project, I finally found a use for it. Welcome to my latest project, the Steampunk camera tripod for the dropping plate camera. In my last project, I restored an antique camera. I thought this tripod, though from a different era, would fit well with that camera. It wasn't in bad shape, and my goal here wasn't to make it brand new, but rather clean it up and make it functional. This tripod design was patented March 2nd, 1926 by Theodore A. Johnson. This tripod's probably a bit later, I'm guessing 1930s or maybe even the 1940s based on its construction. It was manufactured by the Ansco Company out of Binghamton, New York. The company was founded in 1901 and operated into the mid-1980s. Most of what repair work I had to do involved cracks like this one that needed to be glued back together. At some point over the years, these knobs on the leg brackets became mismatched. I wound up replacing them with newer ones that matched. These leather discs, held in with nails, act as stops. The first repair was gluing the crack in the main mast. This repair was clamped while the glue was allowed to dry. The wood surfaces were all treated with Old English wood preservative. The top surface of the camera mount used to have a felt covering. Before I can apply a new one, I have to remove the old. This wooden plate had a crack running down the middle of it, as well as delaminating. I diluted some wood glue with water so that it could penetrate into these cracks, and then glued the laminate layers and crack, then clamped things together and allowed them to dry. Here you can see the Ansco manufacturer label. It's also stamped with the patent number. The bottom of the camera mount is also a laminate. A piece of this had chipped away and needed to be repaired. The repair consisted of a piece of oak that was shaped and glued into place. This piece also had delaminations that were glued and clamped. After final shaping of the repair, it was stained with dark walnut. With the major repairs done, it was time to start putting things back together. After cleaning any brass or other metal pieces, a coating of car wax was used to prevent corrosion. There were a lot of little brass hardware pieces that needed cleaning. Originally these stops were made out of leather. I replaced them with rubber grommets held in with screws rather than nails. With the camera mount piece put back together, the next step was to put a new piece of felt on the surface. This green felt was rigid and came with an adhesive back. This hand crank was pretty dirty. Its purpose was raising and lowering the main mast that held the camera. Later in this video, I'll give you a demonstration of how this mechanism works. These brass squares with the shafts sticking out of them were part of the clamps for the leg extensions. Those are the rectangular brackets that you saw before. The threads on the shafts and the squares were kind of messed up. Here I'm retapping the holes in the brass squares and rethreading the threads on the shafts. The threads on this post were damaged when I removed it because it had a metal pin driven into the threads to keep it from loosening. After cleaning up these threads, the shaft could be put in place and removed easily. Rather than holding the threaded shaft in place with a pin, I opted to drill and tap a hole for a set screw. Just a quick cleanup of the tripod base before inserting the cleaned leg extensions. Here I'm putting the brackets back together that hold the leg extensions in place. You can also see that I'm putting newer knobs onto the brackets to replace the mismatched ones that we saw before. At this point, all the pieces have been cleaned up and repairs have been made. It's now time to put everything back together. After it was back together, I found one final problem. You can bury it all the way down there and it still lifts and turns because it doesn't go in far enough. The solution is to make a threaded shaft that's longer than the original. I made this from a piece of 1/4-inch brass. I'm drilling a small indent into the piece for the set screw to rest in. So there's our replacement longer one and our shorter one. See, we're threaded much longer. That actually tightened up against there, and now I can't turn this. You can see this tightens against this brass strip. Loosen that. And then by using the crank, we can raise and lower the main mast for the camera tripod. And you can go back the other way. And this tightens in place. This one loosens, and then you can turn this top plate. This one loosens, and now we can tilt it. Up. You can also put that back down real easily. Tighten it up. Platform raises and lowers. Next up is finally mounting the camera. I decided to make the brackets from brass plates sourced from my box of antique clock parts. Using these old brass pieces meant the brackets would match the rest of the camera and tripod. They needed two things. They needed to be drilled in the center for mounting to the tripod and bent in an L shape so they could rest against the front and back of the camera. Here I'm marking and rounding the ends of the rear bracket. This one goes on this side. kind of see how they fit. Rather than having the brass make direct contact with the camera, I use these self-adhesive bumpers to provide a barrier between the bracket itself and the camera. The slot in the camera mount allows me to move the bracket back and forth so it can apply enough pressure to the camera to hold it in place. So there we have it, the Steampunk camera tripod for the dropping plate camera. For more details on the repairs and the construction, you can check out the link to my Technology Imagined website in the link below. Thank you very much for viewing.